You are wired differently, and that's both your greatest strength and your biggest challenge. Your mind is the most powerful tool you own, but for most people, it's also the biggest obstacle. It will either be your greatest weapon or the very thing that keeps you stuck. Every single day, your thoughts are shaping your future. The question is, are you the master of your mind, or is your mind mastering you? Most people wake up and let their emotions, fears, and doubts run their day. They react instead of create. They hesitate instead of dominate. But listen to me. Your mind is not your enemy. It's your greatest ally if you train it right. If you want to rise above mediocrity, if you want to become unstoppable, you must take full control of your mind, because once you do, everything else follows. You have the power to rewire your mind, to train it like a muscle, to program it for success instead of failure. Most people are walking around carrying beliefs that were given to them by society, by their past, by people who never lived their dreams. And they wonder why they feel stuck, why they never break through. Your beliefs shape your reality. If you believe you're not good enough, you'll never be. If you believe you don't have what it takes, you'll never even try. But the second you decide that nothing is going to stop you, your world shifts. And let's talk about emotions. How many times have you let fear stop you? How many times have you let self-doubt hold you back? Here's the truth. Your emotions are not facts. They're just signals. You feel fear? Good. That means you're stepping outside your comfort zone. You feel doubt? Perfect. That means you're about to do something meaningful. But emotions only have power over you if you let them. The moment you stop letting feelings control your actions, you become unstoppable. But here's where most people fail. They get inspired, they get pumped up, but then they hesitate. They wait, they overthink. And that's the death of momentum. Execution is everything. You don't need all the answers. You don't need permission. You need to decide and move. Success is not about motivation, it's about habit. It's about taking action when you don't feel like it. It's about pushing through when everything in you wants to quit. That's the difference between those who win and those who make excuses. So here's the truth. Mastering your mind is the key to mastering your life. If you can control your thoughts, if you can control your emotions, if you can control your actions, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop you from becoming everything you were meant to be. There was once a man who had all the talent in the world but never achieved his dreams, not because he wasn't capable, not because he didn't have opportunities, but because his own mind worked against him. Every time he had a shot at greatness, his doubts whispered, what if you fail? What if they laugh at you? And instead of fighting back, he believed the lies. He let fear control him. He let hesitation rob him. And so year after year, he stayed stuck, watching others rise while he remained trapped in the same cycle of inaction. This is the reality for millions of people. They have the potential, they have the intelligence, they have the ability, but they never break through because they never take control of their minds. Your mind is a battlefield, and every day you are either winning or losing. There is no neutral ground. You are either sharpening your weapon, training yourself to think stronger, act bolder, and push harder, or you are letting it rust, allowing self-doubt, fear, and negativity to take over. Think about it. How many times have you talked yourself out of something before you even tried? How many times have you let a single failure define your belief about what's possible? How many times have you looked at someone successful and thought, I wish I had what they have, instead of asking, what do I need to do to get there? The difference between those who win and those who settle is simple. Winners take control of their minds, while others let their minds control them. If you want to change your life, you don't start with money, you don't start with connections, you don't start with luck. You start by sharpening the most powerful weapon you will ever have, your mind. Because once you master your mind, you master everything else. Look at the greatest achievers in history. Did they have doubts? Yes. Did they face challenges? Absolutely. But here's the key. They refused to let their minds be their enemy. They took control. They trained their thoughts to work for them instead of against them. They knew that success isn't about having fewer problems. It's about becoming mentally strong enough to overcome them. There was once a young man who grew up in absolute poverty. He had no support, no guidance, and no one to believe in him. He could have let his circumstances define him. He could have told himself that success wasn't possible for people like him, but he didn't. Instead, he trained his mind to see opportunity where others saw obstacles. He refused to be a victim. He refused to let his thoughts control him. And every time doubt crept in, every time fear tried to stop him, he reminded himself, my mind is my greatest weapon. If I sharpen it, nothing can stop me. Years later, he built a business empire, changed his family's legacy, and proved to the world that mindset is everything. This is the same choice you have to make every single day. Will you allow your mind to be your greatest enemy, or will you train it to be your most powerful weapon? Because the truth is, most people lose the battle before they even step onto the field. They lose in their minds before they ever take action. They tell themselves it's too hard, too late, too risky, and so they never even try. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. But those who win, they think differently. They train their thoughts like a warrior trains for battle. They wake up every morning and refuse to let negativity take over. They rewire their minds to focus on solutions instead of problems. They program themselves to take action, even when they don't feel like it, because they understand that emotions are temporary, but habits shape their destiny. Imagine this. You're standing in front of two doors. One door leads to a life of mediocrity, regret, and playing small. The other leads to a life of greatness, achievement, and impact. The only thing that determines which door you walk through is how you train your mind. Because here's the truth. Your circumstances don't decide your future. Your mindset does. Your background doesn't determine how far you go. Your belief system does. Your challenges don't define you. Your response to them does. If you don't take control of your mind, someone else will. The world will tell you what you can and cannot do. Society will try to put limits on you. People will project their fears onto you. And if you're not mentally strong, you will believe them. You will shrink. You will stay stuck. But if you sharpen your mind, if you train yourself to think like a champion, nothing can hold you back. So ask yourself, what kind of thoughts are you feeding your mind every day? Are you sharpening your weapon, or are you letting it weaken? Are you training yourself for success, or are you allowing doubt to run the show? Because in the end, the battle is not won in the moment, it's won in the mind long before the moment ever arrives. The stronger your mindset, the stronger your life. Winners are not born, they are created. And they're created by one thing, the ability to master their minds. There comes a moment in life when you realize that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the way you think. Every decision, every action, every breakthrough you've ever had started as a thought. And the harsh truth is this: most people are living a life dictated by the same old thoughts, running on autopilot, stuck in patterns that keep them exactly where they are. They want success, but they keep thinking like someone who struggles. They want confidence, but they keep telling themselves not good enough. They want freedom, but they allow fear to control them. Your mind is like a blueprint. Whatever thoughts you allow to dominate will shape your reality. If you're constantly thinking about why something won't work, guess what? It won't. If you're always focusing on problems instead of solutions, problems are all you'll ever. But if you train yourself to think differently, if you rewire your brain to seek opportunity, to push through challenges, to expect success instead of failure, your entire world will change. Think about it. Why do some people, despite facing massive setbacks, still rise to the top while others crumble under pressure? It's not luck, it's not talent, it's mindset. The ones who win have trained themselves to think in a way that leads to success. They don't see obstacles as roadblocks, they see them as stepping stones. They don't get paralyzed by fear, they use it as fuel. They don't sit around waiting for motivation, they create it by taking action. Rewiring your thoughts isn't about ignoring reality, it's about choosing how you respond to it. Most people live as prisoners of their own minds, chained by limiting beliefs that were given to them by society, by their past, by people who never chased their dreams. They think small because they were told to play it safe. They doubt themselves because they were conditioned to believe success is only for a chosen few. But the truth is, the only thing separating you from the person you want to be is the way you think. There was once a man who grew up in poverty, surrounded by negativity, told he would never amount to anything. He could have accepted that as his truth. He could have let those thoughts define him. But instead, he made a choice. He decided to rewire his mind. He started feeding his brain with new thoughts, new beliefs, new possibilities. Every time self-doubt crept in, he fought back with a stronger thought. Every time he faced a failure, he told himself it was a lesson, not a defeat. And because he changed the way he thought, he changed his entire life. The same power is in your hands. Your brain is not fixed. Your beliefs are not permanent. You can reprogram yourself for success, just like you can reprogram a computer. But here's the catch. You have to be intentional. You have to take control of what you allow into your mind. The world is constantly trying to feed you thoughts of fear, doubt, and limitation. Social media, the news, the people around you. If you're not careful, you'll absorb their negativity without even realizing it. And that's why you have to guard your mind like a warrior. You have to consciously choose thoughts that empower you, not ones that weaken you. Start paying attention to the words you tell yourself every day. Are you feeding your mind thoughts of confidence, strength, and success? Or are you repeating the same doubts and fears that have kept you stuck for years? If you want different results, you need different thoughts. If you want a better life, you need a better mindset. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, replace it with, I will find a way. Every time you hear that voice saying, what if I fail? Respond with, what if I succeed? Every time fear tells you to back down, push forward anyway, because the more you challenge your old thoughts, the more you weaken them. And the more you reinforce new, powerful thoughts, the stronger they become. Your thoughts create your habits create your actions create your destiny. It all starts in the mind. The ones who succeed at the highest level aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who have trained themselves to think differently. They have rewired their thoughts to see opportunity instead of limitation, to believe in themselves even when no one else does, to take action no matter how they feel. The question is, will you do the same? Will you let your old thoughts keep you stuck? Or will you take control and create the blueprint for unstoppable success? Because at the end of the day, your mind will either be your greatest asset or your biggest liability. And that choice is entirely yours. There are two types of people in this world: those who control their emotions and those who let their emotions control them. The difference between success and failure, between greatness and mediocrity, often comes down to this one thing: emotional mastery. Most people don't realize it, but every decision they make, every action they take is either fueled by emotions that empower them or crippled by emotions that hold them back. And the ones who rise to the top, the ones who break through barriers and achieve what most people only dream of, are the ones who have learned how to take control of their emotions instead of letting their emotions take control of them. How many times have you let fear stop you from taking a chance? How many times have you let anger push you into making a decision you regret? How many times have you felt overwhelmed and shut down instead of pushing through? This is where most people get stuck. They believe emotions are something that just happens to them, something they have no control over. But that's a lie. Emotions are not in charge. You are. And the moment you realize that, the moment you decide to take command of your feelings instead of letting them dictate your actions, everything in your life begins to change. Picture two people standing at the edge of an opportunity. One is filled with doubt and fear, telling themselves it's too risky, that they're not ready, that they might fail. The other feels the exact same fear, but instead of letting it stop them, they channel it into action. They use it as fuel. They recognize that fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that they're stepping into something bigger than themselves. Both people feel fear, but only one controls it. And that's why only one succeeds. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who never feel emotion. They are the ones who know how to manage it. They feel the same fear, the same frustration, the same uncertainty as everyone else. But instead of reacting impulsively, instead of letting their emotions dictate their behavior, they step back, take control, and respond in a way that moves them forward. That's what separates champions from the rest. It's not just talent, it's not just intelligence, it's the ability to master emotions under pressure, to stay focused in chaos, to choose power over weakness every single time. There was a man who had every reason to be angry at the world. He had been knocked down, betrayed, rejected, and told he would never amount to anything. He could have let bitterness consume him. He could have allowed his emotions to dictate his future, but he made a different choice. Instead of letting anger hold him back, he channeled it into hunger. Instead of letting pain break him, he let it fuel him. He decided that no matter how he felt, he would not let emotions run his life. He would run his emotions. Years later, he built a legacy that inspired millions, proving that the power to control emotions is the power to shape destiny. The truth is, emotions are powerful. They can either be the greatest force pushing you forward or the biggest weight holding you back. The key is learning how to use them instead of being used by them. When you feel fear, instead of running, ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? When you feel anger, instead of lashing out, ask yourself, how can I turn this energy into something productive? When you feel doubt creeping in, instead of letting it paralyze you, ask yourself, what action can I take right now to prove my doubt wrong? This is what separates the weak from the strong. This is what creates winners. Most people think success is about skills, strategies, and knowledge. And while those things matter, they mean nothing if you don't have emotional control. Because life will test you. You will face setbacks, failures, and moments where everything seems to be falling apart. And in those moments, your emotions will try to take over. Fear will try to make you quit. Frustration will tell you it's not worth it. Self-doubt will whisper that you're not good enough. And if you listen, if you let those emotions make your decisions, you will stay stuck like everyone else. But if you learn to control your emotions, if you develop the ability to stay calm, to stay focused, to stay relentless no matter how you feel, there is nothing you cannot accomplish. The most powerful people in the world are not the ones who never feel fear. They are the ones who have trained themselves to act in spite of it. They are the ones who refuse to be controlled by temporary feelings. They are the ones who understand that emotions are not the enemy. Lack of control is. The question is, who will you be? The person who is ruled by their emotions or the person who rules their emotions? Because in the end, the ones who master their emotions are the ones who master their lives. There comes a moment when you have to decide, will you be the master of your emotions or will your emotions master you? Because in the end, it's the only thing separating those who rise from those who fall. The weak react, the strong respond. The powerless let their emotions dictate their actions. The unstoppable take control, harness their emotions, and use them as fuel to push forward, no matter what. Think about the legends, the icons, the history makers. Were they fearless? No. Did they never feel anger, pain, frustration, or self-doubt? Of course they did. But they made a decision, I will not be controlled by how I feel. I will control how I feel. They turned fear into focus. They turned pain into power. They turned doubt into discipline. That's why they won. And that's why most people don't. Because most people live as prisoners of their emotions. They wake up tired, so they quit. They feel afraid, so they hesitate. They feel discouraged, so they stop trying. And then they wonder why nothing changes. But here's the truth. You will never always be motivated. You must learn to be disciplined. You must learn to take action, not based on how you feel in the moment, but based on what you are committed to in the long run. When life knocks you down, and it will, you have two choices: stay down and make excuses, or rise up and make history. Champions don't complain, champions don't whine, champions don't wait for perfect conditions to act. They move forward no matter how they feel. You might feel fear, but fear is just excitement without action. You might feel pain, but pain is temporary. Quitting lasts forever. You might feel doubt, but doubt is just the signal that you are about to break through to a new level. Every great success story is built on moments when someone refused to let their emotions define them. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest because he felt like practicing every day. He did it because he was committed to greatness. Muhammad Ali didn't become the greatest because he loved every workout. He said, I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. That is emotional mastery. That is what separates the best from the rest. Your emotions are not your enemy, they are your power, but only if you learn how to control them. If you allow them to control you, they will rob you of your dreams. They will make you weak. They will keep you stuck in a cycle of fear and hesitation while others rise and take what they want. You have to break free, you have to take command, because the moment you stop allowing your emotions to dictate your life, that's the moment you become truly unstoppable. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what kind of person am I? Am I the kind who lets fear make my decisions? Am I the kind who gives up when I feel frustrated? Am I the kind who lets my emotions write my story? Or am I the kind who takes control, who keeps pushing, who refuses to be stopped? Because that choice is yours. No one can make it for you. No one can hand you emotional mastery. You have to take it. You have to own it. You have to become the kind of person who stands tall no matter how you feel, who shows up even when it's hard, who pushes forward even when everything inside you says to quit. There will be moments when your emotions try to break you, when life tests you, when doubt creeps in, when fear whispers in your ear. And in that moment, you will have to make a decision. Do I give in or do I fight back? Do I let this feeling define me or do I rise above it? Do I accept mediocrity or do I demand greatness for myself? Because in the end, nobody remembers the people who let fear control them. Nobody remembers the ones who quit when it got hard. The world remembers the fighters, the warriors, the relentless ones who refused to let their emotions hold them back, the ones who stared fear in the face and moved forward anyway, the ones who felt doubt but kept going, the ones who took pain and turned it into greatness. That is who you are. That is who you were born to be. You were not put on this earth to be average. You were not meant to live in fear. You were not designed to be controlled by your emotions. You were built for more. You were created to be powerful. You were made to master yourself. And when you finally step into that power, when you finally take control of your emotions, you will take control of your destiny. So go out there and prove it. Not with words, but with actions. Not someday, not when you feel ready, not when the time is perfect. Now. Because if you don't take control of your emotions, someone else will. If you don't master your mind, the world will do it for you. But if you take control, if you refuse to let emotions rule you, if you decide right here, right now that you are the one in charge, then nothing, absolutely nothing will be able to stop you. Control your feelings, control your life. And when you do, the world will have no choice but to remember your name.